How many cards can you create with just one die set? 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you start adding things from your stash, 5, 6, I can keep going. Hi everyone, I'm Yana, a card maker on YouTube, and today I'm making Christmas cards with one die set. We're also going to vote in this video and pick one best design, the one design you would replicate over and over again to create your holiday card for this year or next year or years to come. Welcome back to my channel. Let's get crafty. The die set I'm creating with today is the Yuletide Ride from the Wonderland Collection with Spellbinders. But you can do what I show you in this video with many other die sets you probably already own. Be sure to shop your stash. This set includes dies to create a crazy holiday ride with all kinds of seasonal items on top of this cute car. Accessories include a holiday tree with all of its decor, presents accented with bows, a wreath, a stocking, a string of lights, and more. That was a description from the Spellbinders website, by the way. I love this card die set. This is one of the die sets that can be used to create multiple design variations. But first, let's look at how to assemble this car. I went ahead and I cut all the pieces out and I have them laid out on my desk. Now here is the actual die set. I have mine stored on the magnetic inserts designed to work in the craft stacks from Spellbinders. This is actually how I store the entire Winter Wonderland collection with all the other products that are part of that collection, and this Yuletide Ride just fits right in there like so. Very convenient. I love to store my die sets in the craft stacks. I have them neatly organized on my shelf, and it makes it very easy for me to find products. So these are all the dies in this die set. I cut all the parts and pieces out, and I used some little Danica dishes to sort them on my desk. You can still find these on the Spellbinders website. There's only this one design, the strawberry design, that is still available. They used to have a whole bunch of other designs like little Christmas trees, Christmas lights, mushrooms, all sorts of things. Now there's only this strawberry available, and it's very cool. It's very handy when you need to sort little die cut pieces when you are working on a project. As you can see, I have my die cuts neatly separated inside of these. You will also need some tools for this. I have my Barely Art Glue, I have my Crystal Katana tool, and I will also be using tweezers from Spellbinders. I have 2 car die cuts, and this is because I like to back my die cut pieces up. I'm going to add a little bit of ink blending to some of my die cuts, not all, just to the car and the Christmas tree. You can skip that, or you can add the ink blending, up to you. Sometimes I like to ink blend, other times I like plain die cuts, but ink blending certainly adds a whole lot of detail and interest to a die cut. I'm using brick ink from Simon Says Stamp. This is positively saturated ink, mini ink blending brush, and I'm adding ink blending from the bottom of the car and also inside the windows, just a little bit. I'm going to clean my work surface and show you the 2 die cuts side by side so you can see the clear difference. Now, this is pomegranate cardstock from Spellbinders. So this is not their lightest, but also not their darkest red. This is like the medium red that they have. Next, going to use glue and adhere the 2 die cuts together. Like I said, this creates one sturdier piece for my project, and I especially like doing this when a die cut has additional cut lines, like this car. We have additional detail added to the car side, not the car front, the car side, with the help of the die. Now next, this little die, or this grouping of dies, it creates headlights, taillights, and a little piece that you put behind the handle opening to create a handle. I cut these 2 pieces, or these 3 pieces, from 2 colors of cardstock. I have white and I have yellow. I'm going to use white for the handle and the tail light, and then yellow for the headlight. You could also use red for the tail light, but because my car is red, I didn't want to add additional red there. So I went with white. You could also skip adding the light to the back, and I feel like I have one card where I skipped doing that. We also have these pieces. There's 1 die to cut these, and I cut it twice. So we have like the little things that go over the wheel, the wheels, and then detail on the wheels. All of these were cut from the same colors of cardstock, so I used pomegranate and then brushed black for the wheels and gold glitter for the detail. I'm going to use thin foam adhesive squares to foam mount these pieces onto my car. You don't need to do that, but I find that I like it when I have a little extra detail there, a little extra dimension. So that's why I'm using foam adhesive. And again, thin foam adhesive, not the regular thickness, but the 1 millimeter thick foam adhesive. This is why I call it thin. So I have these foam mounted, and you can see how now these two pieces look. I have one with the ink blending, and then these don't have any ink blending, and there's like a little bit of contrast. I'm going to add my wheels using glue, and then going to add the gold detail. You can also use a silver paper for this, like silver metallic, cardstock, or even white. And our little car is ready. If you want, you can place vellum behind the windows to have like little tinted windows or acetate. Lots more you can do with a car. Now this next piece, it's this die. This creates like a holder that you can put on top of your car to hold all of the pieces. That's especially handy if you want to fit all of the die cuts, all of the pieces on your car. Most of my cards only feature one element, and I'm not using that holder, but I wanted to show you what it looks like. So let's go ahead and assemble the tree. I have this cut from green cardstock. I'm going to add some Perfection ink. Again, this is Simon Says stamp, positively saturated ink. Just going to do a little bit of ink blending around the edges. There's also a little star. I cut this one from gold glitter cardstock. And you can add a tree trunk. I did not add the tree trunk to the trees on my cards, but I wanted to add it here just to show you what it looks like. Now you can decorate this tree with little lights and garlands. And I have mine cut from white cardstock. This is brushed white and also red. You can do a whole lot of different colors for the Christmas lights and the ornaments. I just wanted to do something, simple here just to show you a basic design. When you attach the garlands or, the ornaments, there are different ways how you can attach them. There are no etched lines on the tree. So there's no predefined way how these need to be attached. So you have the freedom to attach these however you want. And you can also cut these multiple times if you want to add more garlands to your tree. I only have the 3 pieces that I was able to create by cutting this die once. And I also have the red ornaments or the red lights. On my other card examples, I have these lights cut from different colors of cardstock, multiple colors, and it looks a little bit more cheerful when you do the multiple colors. But again, I just wanted to show you red here. You do need to use a little pickup tool when assembling these pieces because some of these die cuts are very, very tiny, very small. And here's a look at our Christmas tree, and it can go on the top of the car. Okay, next we have a stocking and a candy cane. The stocking is actually very easy to assemble. I love the way that this piece is made. So you cut the base piece from white cardstock. I used brushed white. And then you cut the red piece from red cardstock. So it's just 2 pieces. Unlike the other dies where you would have, like the base stocking and the top, the front and the back of the sock. So you would have multiple pieces. Here it's just 2 pieces, and that makes it very easy to assemble. Now the candy cane, this is super shiny. I'm telling you guys, you do need tweezers for this. So candy cane, again, you have 2 pieces. You have the main, like the backer piece, and I cut that one from white. And then you have the piece with the little stripes, and I cut that one from red. And you just glue the 2 pieces together, and you have a cute little candy cane. And you can cut multiples of these and stick them inside the stocking, or just add them even as ornaments onto the Christmas tree. Next, I have a wreath with ornaments and a little envelope with a heart. The envelope with a heart is super cute. I cut this one from white and red. I'm using the same colors of cardstock for all of these die cuts here. So I'm not going to keep repeating the name of the colors of cardstock that I used. With the wreath, the ornament placement is predefined. There are etched lines on this die cut, and these lines tell you where each ornament needs to go. This is very handy. Again, I cut these just from red. You can cut these from multiple colors. You can cut these from specialty cardstock like metallic or glitter, or even use gems or little embellishments like little enamel dots to decorate the wreath. I lost some of the die cuts, so I pulled some other die cuts, little die cut circles that I had sitting on my desk from previous projects, and that worked just fine. So here's a look at the wreath. I really like that this die cut also has a little dot detail added, so it adds interest to this piece. Okay, next we have a large string of lights. You have 4 lights here. You can cut these from one or multiple colors of cardstock. I cut this one from different shades of red, a lighter and a darker red, so poppy and pomegranate, and I'm just going to alternate them here. The base string was cut from white, but you can also cut this from black. You can cut this from gold glitter. You can cut this from green. Think about the actual lights that you have for your Christmas tree and think about the color of the cord. That should give you ideas for which colors would be suitable to use here. And then finally, we have presents. There are several dies, well, 2 dies, like 2 little rectangle dies to cut the presents. There's one skinny rectangle die, and that's like the lid of the present box. And you also have a die to create a bow. You can put the bow on both presents, although I find that it fits better on the smaller present. And you can cut as many presents as you want. Again, I cut only 2, and I use pattern paper for this. By the way, the pattern paper is from the Christmas card kit from this year from Spellbinders, from the Make It Merry or Merry Moments. I think that's the name of the card kit. But again, you can cut this from colored cardstock, or you can even do a little bit of embossing on these to add some texture. Lots you can do to create beautiful presents for your little cards. And then the gift is easy to assemble. You just adhere the top piece with the loops and also adhere this bottom piece. And you can cut these from different colors of cardstock too. You don't have to cut them from one. If you cut them from like a dark and a light red, it would look nice as well. So here's the stack of gifts. And let's go ahead and put everything on top of our little car and finish this die kit. So this die set is packed with all sorts of little elements that can be used with a car or without the car on their own. And now let's look at the card designs I have for you. Card design number 1 is a classic Christmas color combination. We have windy for the background, poppy for the car, and rainforest for the Christmas tree. Now, I also brought in some other products from my stash. I have this confetti better press plate from Spellbinders. I love to use this as snow. I foiled it in my Glimmer hot foil system using the opaque white foil. Love this foil. I finally have another roll in my stash so I can go back to using it. So we have a cool little snow in the background. Notice I didn't foil the snow all the way to the bottom of my card, to the bottom of my card front. I only have it about, let's measure. I have about 1.5 inches from the bottom free from snow. And the reason I did that, I wanted to fit a sentiment here. And for the sentiment, I used to have a holly Jolly Christmas from my Christmas Cheer Better Press Plate sentiment set from the Christmas collection that I have with Spellbinders this year. This is that Better Press Plate set. And again, I foiled it using the same white foil. My car was created in the same way that I just showed you. And then I have a large tree on top of the car. But instead of using the ornaments and the embellishments that come with the tree, I went ahead and I used the large string of lights. I have 2 of them here. And I added those onto the tree. So it looks like the tree is kind of wrapped in that string of lights, and we have cord at the top and at the bottom. I also used glossy accents, although my cat decided to sniff all of these bubbles, so they don't look very nice. But still, I have a cool little dimension added to the top of these. I also used the Splatter White product from Spellbinders to add a little bit of snow under the wheels of my car. Not sure how well you can see that, but that created a cool little additional detail to this card. So this is card design number 1. Card design number 2. Here I used sage cardstock from Simon Says Stamp to create the background of my card. If you still have the old Spellbinders cardstock, you might have a similar color in your stash because Spellbinders had a similar color. Sadly, they no longer have it. So I have sage for the background. Once again, I used that same confetti Better Press plate to create the snow. Here I have this a little bit further away from the top, so it's about 1 3/4 inches. I have the car created using coral cardstock from Spellbinders. This is a very non-traditional color combination for me. I feel like I'm trying this for the very first time, but I really love it. I also added gray cardstock to the inside of the windows for my car. I didn't do that on the other projects, and I kind of like that because here the gray cardstock blocks out the embossing or the foiling, the snow that you can see through the windows. On this card, it's not as noticeable because we have a very light background with white snow, so you can't really see too much of that. But on this card, that snow was being very visible, so I blocked that with gray cardstock. This is Anchor from Spellbinders. I once again used a sentiment from the Christmas cheer sentiment set for my Christmas collection with Spellbinders. This one says, "Merry everything and happy always." Now, for the snow under the tires of my car, I used a white pencil. This is a Faber-Castell Polychromos pencil. And I just, scribbled a little bit of snow. I held my pencil on the side, and that's how I was able to create that snowy look. Now for the presents, I used pattern paper from the Merry Moments Christmas kit from Spellbinders from this year. I cut little rectangles. I added bows created from red, green, and silver cardstock. And that finished my card. So this is card idea number 2. Oh, and by the way, I added ink blending to the bottom of my card using the Pink Fresh Apricot ink. Moving on, and this is card idea number 3. Again, a completely different color combination. I used chiffon cardstock for the background, and once again, I added snowy detail using the confetti embossing folder. The snow is about 1.5 inches from the bottom. I have my little cute car cut from 2x2 cardstock. I have black wheels with white detail. I added a Christmas tree on top of the car. This was created using rainforest gold glitter, a slightly darker pink, which I believe is dahlia, and teal topaz for additional ornaments. I also used a white pen and I added little dots to fill that tree area in with more detail. I have a little envelope here in the back cut from teal topaz and dahlia, and then the string of lights. The sentiment, "Season's greetings from our house to yours," come from the same Christmas cheer set with Spellbinders. So this is my card design number 3. And here is my card design number 4. This is a mini slimline card. I haven't made this size card in a long time. So for the background, I went with indigo cardstock. I love this color for a deep dark blue, like a nighttime scene. Once again, I used a confetti plate and the white foil to create the falling snow. This is foiled about 1.75 inches from the bottom. For the sentiment, I brought sentiments from my Amaryllis Christmas collection, and I have one that says, "I'll be home for Christmas." I feel this is so fitting with the car. I have the Christmas tree on top of the car. I have it oriented differently. So here it's horizontal, here it's vertical. So you can do it both ways. But again, depending on the card size, if you're making A2, you might need to have it horizontal, especially if you want to fit a larger sentiment at the bottom. If you have a taller card, you can have it vertically. I also brought in the little envelopes from the same die set, and I embellished my tree with the envelopes. Now, I did bring an additional die set to finish this card. I actually brought like a teeny tiny die from this Christmas die set from Spellbinders. It's an older die set. It's like one of their very first Christmas floral sets. And I cut these little poinsettias from white and red. You can see some at the bottom here adorning the sentiment, and then some at the top adorning the envelopes and the tree. So this is my card design number 4. Next, we have card design number 5. This is where I started to bring additional die sets to combine the little card die with other things that I have in my stash, and I barely just scratched the surface. So here I use the layered Shadow Joy from my Christmas collection with Spellbinders this year. I have the large joy here. I adorned the joy using the wreath from the car and also the string of lights, as well as the little envelope, and the candy cane. Isn't that so cute? I used chiffon cardstock for the background and the same confetti background batter pressed blade to create the snowy background for my card. What I did here, I actually layered foiling. So I first foiled the Merry Christmas from my Home for the Holidays Betterpress Sentiment set from the Amaryllis Christmas collection with Spellbinders. That's my holiday collection from last year. And so I foiled that in gold foil, and then I foiled the confetti on top. So you can kind of see some of the snow dots overlapping the sentiment. Isn't that cool? It looks like the sentiment is kind of covered in snow. Perfect. It's a beautiful effect, and I'm going to try to do this again. So I have the joy at an angle. This is how it needs to be used. This is how I intended it. And then I have my car at the same angle, basically like sliding down the joy. I added the Christmas tree. I did add those little poinsettias from the previous floral die set that I showed you previously. And I love the way this card looks. I used chiffon, pomegranate, peridot, along with some pink cardstock. I believe that was Dahlia and Wildberry. And this is card design number 6. This is the last card I have for you today, guys, but I barely scratched the surface. There is so much you can do with the Yuletide Ride die set, so many different ways how you can use it. So to create this card, this is a 5x7. All of the other cards were A2 except for the one mini slimline card, this one. So we have a 5x7 card. I have my city holiday die set. It's that beautiful apartment building die. So I have that as the focal point of my card, but I trimmed this die set or this die cut and I made it into a 2-story building. So I trimmed the third floor off because I wanted to have room for a sentiment at the top. So here I have, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Again, it's from that Home for the Holidays Better Press Sentiment set from my Amaryllis Christmas collection from last year. I have my city holiday apartment building with the beautiful windows. So the curtains and this wreath, these are all part of the city holiday die set. And then I have my little car with the Christmas tree. So we have the car parked in front of the house, the tree still sitting on top of the car. Or we're probably going to take it down and start bringing it into the house to start decorating and all of that. So this is a cool little scene that I was able to create by combining the Yuletide Ride and the City Holiday die set from Spellbinders. I used the pomegranate. That's all the red color that you see here, although this is, I have a little bit of poppy here. I used indigo, I used fern, and I used rainforest, along with a little bit of gold glitter cardstock and gold metallic and matte gold cardstock for some of the accents. So this is card idea number 6. So now that we've seen them all, we have card idea number 1, card idea number 2, card idea number 3, card idea number 4, card idea number 5, and card idea number 6. Cast your vote in the comments below and let me know your favorite. You can just type up number 1 or number 6, whichever one is your favorite. I'd love to see which card you like the best. Which card design would you recreate over and over again and make into your holiday card this year or next year or years to come? Thanks so much for joining me today. Love you guys, and I'll see you again next time.